Hi everybody, Professor Snart here checking in. It's been a while since I spoke to you, so hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving, a little break. And we have just finished up Unit 11B or 11.5, a revision or rethinking and reseeing of a previous unit. So what you'll find grade-wise is a check mark for just having completed the Unit 11B unit. But then a revised grade for whatever unit you might have revised. So you can check sort of both of those components to make sure they're in place if you finished everything on time and all that kind of stuff. So we get now to the final unit in the class, which is due, and I just want to point out that we're right down to the end of the term, obviously. So our final due date is Thursday, December 9th, and because we are at the end of the term, as soon as our final due date is done, the class is basically over, which means I can't accept work beyond that final due date. So just like with any other unit, but this one maybe even more so, be sure you get this one in on time. And obviously if you have some questions about it, by all means be in touch. So this unit is set up a little bit like previous units. There's a couple of sets of comments from me just in terms of some of the themes that we're dealing with, and there's a set of readings, but you'll notice that the final assignment here is not just a discussion board essay, and it's not just limited to the readings from this unit. So we're at actually the final essay for the class, which will be submitted like you did for the midterm. So you're actually producing a document and submitting it through Blackboard as a Word document or as an attachment to me, as opposed to posting something in the discussion board. There is a final discussion board set up just for final thoughts, but it's much less formal. You don't need to produce an essay for that. There's details in the unit itself. So a couple of comments then in terms of the final essay. It really is designed to be an opportunity for you to synthesize a number of different things together, and so it takes a little planning to do this. The first thing that you want to familiarize yourself with, again, is the course objectives. And again, not the unit objectives here, but the course objectives. So if I click into our syllabus link and our course objectives, there's just two, and they're very broad here. To give students exposure to writers of cultures and time periods other than their own. So kind of the multicultural aspect of our class, or even the comparative literature side of our class. Often, in fact, a class like Masterpieces of World Literature will be taught as like a comparative literature class, so the name can even be interchanged a little bit. And then course objective number 2, analyze some masterpieces of literature to determine how and why those works transcend their particular place and time. So again, that comparative aspect, looking for certain kinds of themes or ideas or character types or character interactions maybe that tend to recur from earliest works of literature up to contemporary literature. So we've seen a number of those kind of, often they're referred to as archetypes, or sort of standard patterns or ideas that emerge in so many different forms. And really, it's interesting to note how such a great variety of not just literature, but art of any kind and contemporary, popular culture, from movies and novels and graphic novels and video games, how they return to some basic archetypes or archetypal characters, the hero, the villain, and all of these kinds of things. Obviously, we found some complexity going on, but at root, there's a lot of very fundamental themes that link a lot of the readings we've done, and of course, literature more broadly conceived. Okay, so those are the 2 course objectives. So keep those in mind, even maybe print out this page or jot them down for yourself so you have that to look at. The next thing that you want to do is return to the readings section of our Blackboard course here, and you'll find a set of essays or discussions, if you want, under these topics here: liberal education, masterpieces, the nature of humanities, and reading literature. So there's lots of ideas that kind of ramble through those various essays, and I cover, lots of, again, very broad terms or ideas to consider as far as like what is a masterpiece, and is that a fair term to use for the kinds of works that we've been reading? What does it imply about works of literature? How do we approach those as readers? How do they fit into larger notions of an education, and why are they valuable for us? And all those kinds of things. So again, there'll be a lot to print out, but worth returning to, and maybe make a note for yourself of a couple of what you feel are important ideas from any of those various readings. So the final essay here is asking you to consider the course objectives, a couple of main ideas from those readings, and then to coordinate those kind of abstract or broad ideas with a few examples from the particular readings, the literature from our course, in a discussion of what you have learned. So that is very broad, obviously, but partly what you're trying to think about is these larger ideas of, what's a masterpiece? Does it transcend its time and place? Historically, how does it speak to us today? Why is that valuable or necessary? With obviously your own experience in terms of the course and the literature that we've read, and drawing from particular examples from throughout the course. So you want to be careful not to just draw from one unit or one time period or one culture. Really try to reflect the diversity of the course in your final essay. So again, it's a lot to coordinate in one essay, and again, it's coordinating big ideas with very particular examples as well. And of course, it's informal in as much as you're writing probably in the I voice. So a little different again from previous, more strictly analytical essays that you've been writing. That's why I suggest to maybe print out the course objectives or make a note for yourself as far as some of the ideas from the readings section here, just so you can sort of see physically these things together and be thinking about how to coordinate all of the detail and the big ideas and make it into an essay that has some sense of unity or purpose to it. So a lot to think about, but I think what makes it doable really is the fact that it reflects your experience in the course. So you're always sort of filtering the larger ideas, and even the particular examples are generated by your specific experience. Even what you liked reading or what you didn't like, that kind of thing can figure into it as well. And then maybe thinking about the reasons for the likes and dislikes as stemming from certain of the larger ideas that are presented in maybe the reading section or even in the basic course objectives that we've talked about. So lots to think about in terms of this final essay, wrapping the course up a little bit for yourself. So as always, be in touch with me, particularly for this essay, since you are trying to coordinate so much stuff. If you're having problems or just want to clarify or double check to make sure you're on the right track, any of that stuff is great. And remember that you're submitting directly through Blackboard, but attaching a document as per the midterm rather than producing this or posting it as a discussion board response essay. Okay, so I'll be available if anybody wants to be in touch, but otherwise I'll talk to everybody soon.